Greetings! Welcome to this Nerd Theorists video where today I am going to be taking a very close look at something that is very exciting for me and very close to my heart. I'm going to take a look at Babylon 5 The Road Home and its new trailer. Now, JMS, the writer and creator of Babylon 5, posted this on Twitter just a few days ago and I've been taking a few notes, so without further ado, let's take a look. Right, so here we go then. Let's take a look.
I was there.
I was there.
Of the third age.
This is
So initially, let's look at who's speaking there. So we've got two I was there's, an at the dawn and an of the third age. Now, I was there one is clearly Sheridan. Two is Ivanova. At the dawn could be Franklin, could be Sinclair. Could be a mix of both. I'm not sure about that one, to be honest. But of the third age, as he comes in, is clearly Londo Mollari, unmistakable voice that he's got. So yeah, I think that's how we start. But I think we also want to go back and look at this. I mean, what on earth is that? It's some kind of shadow vessel, but it's unlike any other shadow vessel I've ever seen before. It's nuts. It's got wavy tentacles. It's got the traditional sort of spider formation, but it seems to move, and it's got one big eye in the middle. I don't like the look of that at all. But let's go back to the start and take a proper look through, shall we?
I was there.
I was there.
At the dawn of the
Oh,
third.
Star Furies look great.
This is an Interstellar News Network special report.
Look at that
2
place.
years
Just
after winning the Shadow War.
Oh.
Captain John.
Okay, so firstly, shadows have got blood now. They always used to look like a more wraith form that would just sort of get torn apart or dissipate when it was hit by fire. But that's a change. That's a very physical shadow, that one is. So let's look at that again. Let's just take a moment to enjoy
Network
this
special
station.
report.
Oh, look how gorgeous that looks in animation. Absolutely beautiful.
2 years after winning the
Here it goes. That is clearly a lot of shadow, blood and guts.
Shadow War, Captain John Sheridan, president of the Interstellar Alliance, is leaving Babylon 5 for what many expect to be the last time.
Jump gate looks like it did in Series 5, which is beautiful. Obviously, it's orange for entry, and I imagine it'll still be blue for when you decant back into real space. We can date this from this point, by the way. So what do they say? It's 2 years after the Shadow War, which ended in 2261, so that puts us in 2263. And he is leaving Babylon 5 for what is likely to be the last time. Now, we know that River of Souls takes place 6 months after he has left Babylon 5. So this would be set between River of Souls and Objects and Rest, which is the second to last episode of Series 5. Obviously, Sleeping in Light is 20 years that way. So yeah, I think we can place this one right at the end of Series 5, but before River of Souls.
Interstellar Alliance is leaving Babylon 5 for what many expect to be the last time.
I don't need an interstellar alliance. You're my universe, Dylan. I love you.
Still besotted with Dylan.
A friend of mine once said, the future is all around us.
Remember.
Waiting in moments of transition, to be born in moments of revelation. This is just such a moment. Fire this baby up. Oh. Something's wrong. What kind of energy does this facility use? Tachyons. Oh,
Ah.
crap.
I like that the moment he hears the word tachyons, he knows exactly what's about to happen to him. That man has dealt with this before. Now, for those of you who've not watched Babylon 5, go and quickly, if nothing else, watch Babylon Squared and War Without End Parts 1 and 2. They will fill in some gaps here about things. But if anyone who's watched Babylon 5 before knows that tachyon energy means some form of time travel, and it's not healthy unless you're stabilized. So clearly Sheridan's not carrying a time stabilizer right now, so something's about to go horribly wrong for him.
Where the hell am I? Yes, I'm stuck.
Now that's the Icarus, which is obviously Anna Sheridan and Mr. Morden's vessel that went to Zahadum and was destroyed with all hands. So what's he doing there?
In time. moving between
And that looks like it might be his dad back on the farm.
timelines, universes.
And we can hear Zathras talking. Oh, now then, speaking of Zathras, here he is. Everybody's favourite character. But he's not the only one of interest there. So who do we have? We've got Ivanova, Delenn, and we've got Sinclair. But we've got Sinclair in his role as Ranger 1, which will put a date on this, I suppose, or a different timeline. And Marcus Cole in the background there. Who, I love Marcus. I'm good to see him back. I just hope they've got the actor for it. But this timeline, where's this going to place it? This is the only time we've ever seen Sinclair really in this role was at the start of War Without End Part 1 in Series 3, when they came to go back in time to Babylon 4 one more time. So I imagine we're going to be crossing a similar sort of timeline to that, but maybe it's a different reality, maybe it's an addition to that reality, who knows at this point, but that certainly looks like where the show is at this point.
The longer you stay out of your own timeline, the more you'll start sliding
Franklin.
through parallel worlds.
So how do I fix
And a Sliders reference,
Back
like
to
that.
Babylon 5.
Shadows.
Using
Okay, so that, hang on, let me just quickly scan forward to that there. That looks to be the Icarus, and they look like surrounded by shadow, so maybe in this case, it all goes even more wrong, and the crew really is lost with all hands at this point, because that looks like a hopeless situation.
Losing the Shadow War wasn't your fault.
Wait, we lost the war?
What are they doing together?
Side. At least we have a good view of the show, eh?
Oh, Londo.
This is Babylon 5. We are
Oh, look at that.
under attack.
Do you know what?
So there, that sounds very much like Ivanova's distress call. Again, I keep coming back to War Without End, but there are only 2 time travel episodes in Babylon 5 to draw from. So Garibaldi hears a distress call from the future and is Ivanova on CNC as Babylon 5 is being torn apart around her, begging for help as the shadows come and dismantle it. And obviously that was averted by the events of those 2 episodes. So does it mean, do we think that perhaps in this version of reality that does not get averted and the station is lost? That would explain why Londo is on Earth with Ivanova, although how Ivanova survives, who knows at this point. Another side note, Garibaldi looking suave as ever there with his little stripe on his forehead, and I'd loving seeing Sinclair back. I mean, there's 2 actors there who are no longer with us, so I do hope they've got good people in to fill the boots.
The last stanzas. You just joined one.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds brilliant.
destruct sequence. Are you feeling all right? This isn't just one of those I'm having a bad day things.
I am
So 2 things. Firstly, hello Lita, nice to see you. But that's a very sassy computer right there. So what's going on with that? What's Lita doing? Let's just go back up a minute. And shadows with shields, this is a new thing as well. Shadows never used to have sort of... They used to just be, again, these wraith-like spooky things that would tear you apart that you couldn't really touch. But these look like they've got protection.
Are you feeling all right? This isn't just one of those I'm having a bad day things.
I am totally in a mood to blow some stuff up.
Oh, and so she did.
Everything ends. I'm not
Look
afraid.
at that.
Bring it.
Okay, so what? Wait, hang on. That looks very much like the moon is crashing into Earth. Yep, that's the moon crashing into North America. Okay.
John?
Delenn. Lockley. Zathras.
I'm coming unstuck in time.
Yeah. Oh, and boom. So it sounds very much like Sheridan, because he's got no time stabilizer, is once again just hopping through time as has happened to him once before. There was that whole the one who was, the one who is, and the one who will be thing where they were all jumping around and Zathras couldn't quite work out who was the one at any given time. And it looks like that's happening again, although it's not in the spacesuit this time. It's very clearly John who's jumping around. And look at that, that's the station gone, although 3 Star Furies might survive.
Zathras won.
Void.
No one listens to Zathras.
No one listens to Zathras. No one ever listens to Zathras.
You look like someone in need of a friend. Friend.
Shikar! Ha, look at that! Oh, that's marvellous. So right at the end we get the yin to Londo's yang, we get Jakar. Again, an actor who's no longer with us, but the voice sounds absolutely spot on. So I do hope that whoever they've got can fill Andreas Katsoulas' very sizable boots.
You look like someone in need of a friend.
Okay. So wasn't that just really good? Like, honestly, Babylon 5 was the first proper sci-fi that I invested time in. Obviously, I'd seen The Next Generation was on TV when I was young. It was a Wednesday night, 6 o'clock BBC 2 thing, but Babylon 5 was the one that it told a story from start to finish over 5 seasons, and he knew how it was going to end, and it was one of the pioneers of long-form storytelling, especially in a TV show, and I absolutely loved it. It was, I mean, for all its faults, I mean, it was of its time, but it did space in 3D. It used 3D graphics, albeit powered by Amigas, which is a large part of the reason why I got myself an Amiga 500. Admittedly, it wasn't good enough to do anything like that, but it was such a good show for its time, and I've wanted more from it for so many years. I've wanted a continuation of Crusade. I've wanted to see what the Lost Tales would have brought us. I've wanted to see what he could have done with Legend of the Rangers, crap though it looked. I am excited and eager to see what he would do with a reboot, if the people at the CW would pull the finger out, or perhaps if, you know, Warner would just stick it on their own, whatever they call it now. It used to be HBO. I want more Babylon 5, and this is classic Babylon 5. This is the original series with much of the original cast as is possible. Hell, even the cover of the DVD looks like the original DVDs. They have gone to town. This is a proper homage to the show, and it looks like it's going to be great, and I can't wait. August. I'll do a full review, maybe with Tom if we get a chance when it comes. So if you want to see that, and you would like to catch up on everything else we do, which is largely a lot of nerdy stuff, war games, magic cards, tabletop games, role-playing, sci-fi, fantasy, D&D, all of that sort of stuff, then hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for those notifications, and make sure you catch all of our future videos. Until then, stay nerdy.